We are talking about Detroit, also known, by the way, as the Motor City here in the United States. But the economic crisis had wiped out many of the auto factories and the jobs that went with them. As the International Auto Show lights up the city, many are wondering if the city's auto industry can make a comeback. Craig Mauro is there and joins us live from Detroit. Hi, Craig.
Hi, Phil. Right here on the floor of the auto show. Now, you might hear and see a lot of construction going on around me. The first day of the press portion of this show has concluded, and now what they're doing is breaking down these huge, fairly slick sets where the first group of automakers did their presentations on Monday, and they're going to reconfigure them tonight for the second set of presentations, which are going to take place on Tuesday. Now, this is the biggest time of the year for this city, the Motor City, like you said, the heartland and the capital of the American auto industry. This is when not only the manufacturers that are based here, but also manufacturers from around the world bring their best stuff to show off to the world about what they've got brewing. And there's a very palpable sense this year that the American auto industry seems to have finally left the worst behind it. The opening of North America's largest auto show saw 6,000 credentialed journalists descend upon the Cobo Convention Center in downtown Detroit. More than 50 new car and truck models will be unveiled at this year's event, the highest number in several years, and a sign that things are back to health in the auto industry.
When you were here in 2008 and 2009, it was much quieter and much simpler, and now it's just back to the great days when the industry was doing well and customers loved cars and they were ready to buy cars. I think that's why you're seeing so many unveilings.
Ford is introducing several new compact models like the Fusion and Siesta, which it hopes will do well in its new push for the Chinese market. General Motors, which nearly went bankrupt 3 years ago and required a multi-billion-dollar government bailout, is unveiling for the first time in 9 years a new version of its iconic Corvette sports car.
There's only 2 carryover parts from the old Corvette to the new. One's a hood latch and one's an air filter. Otherwise, it's a brand new car. So I think that's been the revolutionary moment for a lot of people here in Detroit.
Non-American manufacturers are also making a strong showing, especially the Japanese, who had healthy rebounds in 2012, recovering their market share in the U.S. following the supply chain disruptions caused by the 2011 earthquake and tsunami. Now, Nissan, another major Japanese manufacturer, this shows you how bad things were. They actually sat out of this show the past couple of years because of the problems with the tsunami and the general economic problems, but even Nissan is back this year. They have a pretty big stand and exhibit set up, and they're introducing a brand new hybrid vehicle. Now, one of the coolest things about coming to these big auto shows is, of course, the technology and seeing what the manufacturers are offering in their latest models. And we've got an expert here this evening joining us to talk about some of the technology that we've been seeing at this show. His name is Mark Boyagis. He is a senior analyst at IHS Automotive, and he specializes in the areas of automotive infotainment and HMI. Now, I don't know what the latter is. The former, I kind of have a rough idea. I mean, the infotainment, I'm thinking maybe the DVD screens in the back to keep the kids busy, but I think it's a lot more than that. Tell us a little bit about what you study exactly.
Right. So infotainment in a broad sense is Bluetooth, navigation, entertainment systems, premium audio, all of that content, that rich content in the car that users generally option up to make their car a little bit more experiential while they're driving.
The auto industry as a whole has been kind of holding back the past couple of years for reasons that we all know. What have you seen in your field at this show this year? Have they kind of come back with some impressive offerings?
Yeah, a lot of automakers are getting involved in innovating, not the technology under the hood necessarily, but also the technology in the center stack. We have automakers like the German ones that are bringing a lot of application content in. All of the Americans are bringing a lot of applications through open developer networks, something very similar to Apple or Google. And then even the Japanese have systems like Toyota Intune and Nissan Connect and even Honda Link that are bringing in this kind of content into the vehicle as well.
I think one of the areas that you specialize in is smartphones, and we use our phones for practically everything now, and they're only going to become more integrated with the driving experience. Is that right? Tell us a little bit about what's going on in that field.
Right. Just like with everything, Craig, there's more than one way to skin the cat. You have Bluetooth integration for smartphone data and information. You can do voice-based text, SMS text messaging, which hopefully would reduce the driver distraction. You can bring in their applications, your favorite ones like Pandora or Spotify, or if you're looking at regional markets, in Europe there's specialized content like Apeo. In China there's specialized content like Sina News. And then there's globalized information too.
Thanks, Mark. I'm sorry we're out of time. Mark Boyagis, he's a senior analyst with IHS Automotive. Phil, back to you from a very noisy floor here at the Detroit Auto Show.
Craig, very quickly, what's the coolest thing there so far at the auto show? Man, it's a very big event.
You know what, I gotta say, I didn't get a chance to look. I was concentrating on doing that story, but the Tesla all-electric vehicle has won a couple of Car of the Year awards and is a pretty impressive vehicle. It's not only one that saves gas and is free to run, but it's actually a very impressive car, very attractive. You want to drive this car.
Okay, I'll leave that. It's not a commercial, by the way. Craig Mauro, thank you very much for joining us live from the Detroit Auto Show. Great work.